think the largest breakthrough will be within ichthyology or within paleontology in the next 10 years, and how it affect the next generation of young women?
This is going to be a broad answer to a broad question. So at least in my field in fish anatomy, new kinds of imaging have completely changed what we do. So whether you were working on fossils or living fishes, in the past, you sort of had to either make little sections of that animal and reconstruct what you saw from those sections, or with living fishes, you can clear and stain them, which means you make most of their tissues see-through, but you can see their skeleton. Or with fossils, of course, you can prep out their skeleton a little bit at a time. But now we have things like CT scanning and neutron scanning and synchrotron scanning that allow you to look inside of these animals really quickly and make digital models. So I think what's coming and what we're already seeing in the field is being able to reconstruct how fossil fish moved with greater detail and probably more accuracy than we could in the past. And doing really big comparative studies of like, well, what is the skull shape across these, 100 species of fishes? Well, you can have 100 digital models of skulls and compare things really quickly. And so I think in some ways, the change in what we can do with imaging and our computational ability is enabling us both to look at really, really, really big data sets and also get in really small and look at something like a few cells in a nose of one fish, right? So you have more range in what you can do in a much shorter relative amount of time, I think, than any other time in history. But I will say that also means that if you work on fossils, like going forward, if you work on fossils, you also have to know about development. You also have to know about systematics. You also have to understand anatomy of living fishes. And those things all go together too. If you're studying the evolution of a group of living fishes, you better know if they have fossils and how far back they go. So you now, I think, have to be much broader in your base of knowledge, regardless of what part of the field you're in, than ever before, but you also have more computational and imaging tools at your disposal than before. So I'm excited to see what comes out of that. Yeah, I'm excited to see biomechanics of fossil life and figuring out when particular clades of fishes evolved. And yeah, we have a lot of cool things, I think, coming down the pipe.
Yeah, that's awesome. No one's ever told me or explained to me about how, in the future you're going to have to know like a larger knowledge base, but also the technology and stuff is going to assist you with that. So I think that's cool that you brought that up. But it's nice that, everything's really connected and in science and stuff. Like you're saying, if you study something in the present, you have to know about the past and, vice versa. So that's very cool. What is one thing you wish you knew about STEM or science when you were little, and what advice would you give to girls watching this?
I think for me, for a lot of my early life, school wasn't that difficult. And then I got to college and suddenly it was hard. Like once I was taking only science classes and math classes, it was suddenly extremely difficult. And so I wish that I knew more about how to learn early on. And I wish that I had known that so that I wouldn't have been discouraged by low grades, or especially by not being good at something right away. And I think maybe because we look up to people that you have seen on TV or in books, it's almost as if the way they describe scientists in the media is like, this person is a genius. They were born this way, and this is what they do. But none of us were born knowing any of the things that we currently study. And I wish I'd understood that when I was younger. I failed biology in college, and I still got a PhD in biology. So it's very doable. And you shouldn't let low grades or struggling in classes or not liking a particular aspect of your degree. I wasn't a huge chemistry fan, but I made it. Don't let those things get in your way. would be something that I wish I knew earlier. No one's born knowing all of this stuff, and it's really hard work to learn it. And if it looks like the people around you are learning it really easily, they're not. It's not easy for anybody. So that's some advice, but also just the opinions of other people really don't matter. And I think that's something as women and girls that we accidentally really internalize the opinions of other people. That's how society is built for us. But if you're obsessed with fishes or any other aspect of science, be obsessed with it. Let your freak flag fly. You know, if you're into fishes, great, be obsessed with fishes. If you really want to be a biologist, let that drive you. Read as much as you can about that field. Practice observing the natural world, you know, sit at your window and take notes of what you see during lockdown, you know, take pictures of wildlife and plants and put it on iNaturalist, and like seek these experiences out on purpose. Because there are loads of scientists out there that you'll accidentally come in contact with, and everyone's excited to meet you and help you get into this world. Yeah.
That's awesome advice. Thank you. Both of those pieces of advice are great. I mean, just not letting anyone deter you from doing what you want is so vital, and more people need to know that. So
yeah, I mean, scientists are the coolest. Well, I don't know if I'd say we're cool, but we're the most fun group of people. And it really, yeah, there's something special about being in a community of people that followed what they like to do. That's really special.
yeah, that's so cool. I mean, like, I'm just thinking about, I feel, maybe this is just me, but I feel like, you know, if you walked into a room of scientists, just the passion and the joy would just not be the same if you walked into a room of, I don't know, like stockbrokers. And all the scientists I've met have just loved what they're doing and would never want to do anything else. So
there's something really cool about being, for just a second, the first person to know something. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So whether you're the first person that's ever seen this animal in a fossil in 400 million years, or you know, your computer program has finally stopped running 3 months later, like, oh, this is how these groups of fishes are related to each other. Oh my God. It's a feeling that is shared in all branches of science. And I think that's what really keeps everybody going and passionate and excited to come talk to each other at conferences every year.
Yeah, and it's like, it's with fossils too. I mean, if you find something in stone, or if you sift something out of a river, you're gonna be the first person who's essentially ever seen that, which is
It's the
awesome.
best feeling ever. It's such a good feeling. Keep up the good work. This is awesome.
Thank you so much. You as well.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.